Welcome to Testament Unspoken, where we bring biblical stories to life through the eyes of those who lived them. Each episode offers a raw, first-person perspective on some of the most powerful figures in Scripture, told with emotion, honesty, and depth. Please subscribe for more stories like this. I lived in gold and marble in halls that never knew silence. Servants ran at my command, and my laughter echoed through the palace. And yet, I could hear whispers. People spoke of a God I had never seen, a God who was angry with my father. I didn't understand why my world was changing. One day, I was a prince, a child in a palace full of golden walls and servants. The next, everything was chaos. I saw my father's anger, the fear in my people, but I didn't understand the reason. I was just a boy. I didn't know about Moses, about God, about the promise made to a people I had never seen. And yet, I felt it, the weight of something coming for me. For every firstborn in Egypt, I will strike them, Exodus 12:12, adapted for context. I didn't understand their fear. I only knew the palace was no longer as bright as it once was. I didn't understand why my people were crying, why the river turned red, or why frogs filled the palace halls. I was just a boy, but I could feel something wrong in the air, something dangerous, something I could not control. I was Pharaoh's son. I had everything I could ever want, and yet I felt afraid. Afraid of what I didn't understand, afraid of what was coming. First, it was the water. My tutors and servants screamed, but I didn't understand why the river had turned red. I touched it, and it smelled of iron, of blood. They said it was a warning, a sign, but a sign of what? I couldn't grasp it. Then came the frogs. Everywhere, palace, courtyards, even my bed. My father was furious and I was terrified. They said this was punishment for something called Israel, for a man named Moses. I wanted to cry, but no one comforted me. How could I? I was just a child in a kingdom trembling under wrath I could not see. The Lord said to Moses, I will bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. Exodus 11:1, adapted. The water turned red, frogs crawled over everything. I tried to laugh, but my laughter died in my throat. My father shouted at the priests. I could see his fear, even if he never admitted it. I did not know that this was God's hand, reaching even into the palace. I only knew the world I understood was changing, and I was powerless to stop it. Direct Bible verse, Exodus 7:21. And the Lord did so, and there came a grievous swarm of frogs upon all the land of Egypt. My father roared at the servants. He shouted at the priests. He said we must fight, that we must obey the gods of Egypt. But I felt it too, the fear creeping into my own chest. Every creature, every curse, every darkness, it was pointing at me. I didn't understand why I was to suffer, why I was to be punished for sins I didn't commit. At night, I hid under the covers, trembling. Could God see me? Could he see my fear, my small heart that did not understand why this was happening? Against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord. Exodus 12:12. At night I heard my mother cry. My nurse tried to soothe me, but I could not sleep. Something terrible was coming. I could feel it, and I saw it in my father's eyes, a fear he never showed before. I was told I was safe because I was the prince, the heir. But how could I be safe when the world was filled with a power I could not understand? Direct Bible verse, Exodus 12:29. At midnight the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the prisoner who was in the dungeon. The night was silent, too silent, and then guys' screams, mothers crying, servants wailing. My father bellowed, but it was too late. I felt it. Pain, fear, cold, the finality of it all. I wanted to run, to hide, to beg for mercy, but there was nowhere to go. I was trapped in the palace that had been my kingdom, and it had become my tomb. I didn't understand death. Not really. I felt the air leave me, the world turn cold. My parents' cries were distant, muffled by the darkness that filled the room. I didn't even have the chance to say goodbye, to understand, to live. Why me? Why a boy who had done nothing but play in golden halls and laugh at servants' jokes? Was this justice or punishment meant for my father? I didn't know. And then everything went dark. About midnight, the Lord struck down all the firstborn in Egypt. Exodus 12:29. I did not understand death. I did not understand why the priests could not save me, why my father could not protect me. All I knew was cold darkness and a silence I had never felt before. I thought of my toys, my pets, the laughter in the halls that once made me feel safe, and then everything was gone. I was just a child. I did not command plagues. I did not defy God. Yet I was part of a story larger than my understanding. Even in death, I could feel the kingdom shifting. My father's power waned. The people wept and cursed. Pharaoh's heart was broken, but it was too late. The son who never had a chance to understand had become a symbol of everything lost. God's plan was unfolding, and I was just a part of it. A life used to teach, to change, to warn. By this you will know that I am the Lord, Exodus 12:13 adapted. I was never given the chance to grow, to play, to learn, to rule, to be a child. And yet in my short time I felt everything: fear, confusion, the strange awareness of being part of something greater than myself. If you found meaning in these stories, don't forget to share them with others and subscribe to the channel. Your support is highly appreciated. Thank you. Hit the notification button. Perhaps there was purpose. Perhaps my life, brief as it was meant to change my father, my people, my world. But it still hurts to know that life, so full of promise, was cut short before it even began. Perhaps one day, people will see me not just as Pharaoh's son, but as a reminder that even the innocent suffer, and that God's plan touches all, even those too young to understand it. I may have been a boy, nameless, forgotten by history except as a footnote. But my story, my life mattered. My passing opened the door for freedom, for change, for God's promise to be fulfilled. Sometimes I wonder if the world remembers my face, but God remembered, and that is enough. I was born into privilege, yet I left in tragedy. My name is forgotten, my life barely remembered, but I was a soul, a child, a human caught between fear, power, and God's hand. And perhaps in remembering me, we remember the cost of pride, the fragility of life, and the weight of a God who moves through history in ways we may never fully understand. I didn't choose this life, and I didn't choose this death. But in it, I became part of a story far greater than myself, a story of faith, of justice, of a people freed. I am the son who never ruled, never laughed fully, never lived, and yet I mattered. And in God's plan, that is enough. If you found meaning in these stories, don't forget to share them with others and subscribe to the channel. Your support is highly appreciated. Thank you. Hit the notification button.